What's up, workforce, and the Texas equivalent of bless your heart? That's what this video is going to entail. Be warned, this is a spicy topic around toxicity, and it's stemming from a very interesting Reddit thread that I figured we would actually go through in context. Chris, why don't you go ahead and take us through the Reddit thread, and we can have a good idea of what is being shared. We'll post this in the description of the video if you guys want to go check this out for yourself. But this is a really interesting conversation, and let's go ahead and set the context, then we'll talk about it.
And just to let you know who your narrator here is, I am the guy that if I watch you cut somebody off, will not then let you over for your turn in traffic. I will 100% just say, well, you can wait. Like, you were a dick to 3 people, you don't get to make your turn. I don't care if it makes me miss my turn. So, like, I can be this petty. And today, Xandri and I did wait for the loot timer to expire to kick somebody because they were letting their carbuncle attack things and moving forward just enough to not get kicked out by AFK, and then said, sorry, didn't realize I loaded into the dungeon. Well, that's impossible. And
that so it's got to be a bot.
So we pulled standard trash that didn't drop anything, and then when the timer expired, we vote kicked. That happened because, like, you don't get to get carried through stuff. But this person took it to another level. This person has decided it is time to call everybody out. It is time to let everybody know why they are wrong. And those of us heroes who just want to dole out a little karma justice of our own are always in the right. So it's a great read, by the way. It's a great read. I feel like Preach from World of Warcraft should be reading this. He's an excellent reader at things like this, puts so much tone. So I feel like I'm going to get downvoted to hell, but whatever. I choose to die on this hill.
I like to comment, though, that like his upvotes are like substantial. Actually, what is the percentage?
I think there's a lot to relate to in this.
Oh, yeah.
It is very much a 2 wrongs don't make a right, but sometimes it feels better to just see if you can help karma along.
Yeah.
But I assume that, like, I mean, you're telling the story. You're the hero in the story. So everybody else is going to be 100% without a doubt wrong, and you will always be right. So let's tell the story entirely from our hero's perspective.
Okay.
If I'm in an alliance raid and we notice there is one player, let's say it's a healer.
I think that's like a real situation here. I think this happened.
You know, let's just hypothetically, maybe it's this specific raid. Maybe it was today. I don't know, 4:30 p.m. Who knows? And they were AFK for all of the fights. No room for error here. Not a single moment of helping. And they're not contributing, but they are rolling on the loot so that they don't get kicked. Keep in mind, they would be pulled forward into the encounters by the 15-minute timer. Mm-hmm. So they're there, and they're watching. They're not contributing. Please don't tell me to put up with it and just finish the raid so that we could just get out of the instance. You're damn right. I'm going to be petty and wait out the loot timer to vote kick. And they do not deserve the completion rewards. Impressive you can get an entire alliance raid to wait, because they can pull without both of you now.
Yeah, like, all right, we're good. Especially if it's like anything Crystal Tower. It's like, okay, like, you want to stay back there, whatever.
Yeah, whatever, man.
It's like, gonna suck when it's like, it's gonna be actually what would be the perfect situation here is players who do this kind of stuff. And I think this is a really good example of casual elitism in the sense where it's like, okay, whatever. Like, there's a social contract. You're in a multiplayer game, like, and we'll get into some of the other situations.
No, alliance raids are a funny one because as a tank, to keep them interesting, when I've had good healers who are on top of it and they're not DPSing, so they got time, they got full mana. As a tank, I have made the decision to stand in a fight and go, can I manage my cooldowns in such a way that I can stand still for the entire boss? And the answer is yes, you can manage your cooldowns in such a way. Now, Curtain Call will still get you.
Curtain Call will still get you.
That one cannot be absorbed. Even home gang, that's a no-go. Just saying, hypothetically, that could be verified on stream. I'd recommend letting your healers know you're going to do that sort of thing before you try it.
I'd love to see if they were able to like identify people who do this and then just put them in instances with other people who do this. And so you would end up only queuing with an alliance of group of people.
It's just all AFK at the beginning. They just spawn in and it's a whole bunch of people.
What's happening? Anyway.
Nobody's carrying me? Okay.
But like, it'd be like
Alliance
you've
relays
been cursed.
Alliance relays aren't asking for a lot.
Right.
You move forward and push a rotation. It doesn't have to be yours. You could do a ninja rotation on a monk. Like, it's fine. Just memorize your key buttons, push them in an order. It'll be fine. It'll go down.
Yeah.
It won't be quick, but it'll go down. All right. So that's example number 1, where we have people that are a problem. If you queue into a 77 dungeon,
It's oddly
level
specific.
380. Okay, I level 380. As a tank or a healer, you adventure and need satisfying short cure, and all your equipment is level 70. That's I310s to I330s. You still got some leveling gear on. Replace those slots, you noob. And you are wondering why you can't survive the wall-to-wall pull, which, if you're a tank and you're in level 70 gear in a level 80 dungeon and you're just wall-to-wall,
You're melted like that. I had a tank that had nothing but strength gear on back before they
all this.
And I was like, it was the sweatiest healing job I've ever done in my life, because he was like all in strength gear, and it was like I am always casting, like all my off the globals are done, like I'm just curing and curing and curing, and it's like he is just butter. And it was like I got to the end of that like dungeon, I was like, that I've never hit. Like I hears me on the controller.
Goes, well, first time to finish one without a chest piece or legs equipped, and you're like, well, that explains so much.
That makes so much more sense. Anyway.
Oh, roulette is such a grab bag.
Yeah.
So we've got our tank or healer in 310 to 330, and they can't survive the wall-to-wall pull. And our hero patiently and kindly, nothing but patient kindness here, this is the first time they've ever snapped, explains to you why it isn't working. And you have the nerve, the gall, the cojones to argue, telling me that I'm not doing XYZ good enough. You're damn right I'm vote kicking you.
I really want this to be the title. At least on the thumbnail.
oh, I'm vote kicking you.
Oh, yeah.
Which, once again, keep in mind, like, the whole party has to be in agreement with this, because, like, you could probably finish most dungeons 3-man, not without a tank or a healer. But if you are a healer, right? So we've got a third example of where people are wrong.
Yeah.
If you're a healer, and I'm not saying I don't relate to this, it just nobody comes out of this without being blamed. If you're a healer in a level 80 dungeon and you keep silent, you're no longer arguing, you're no longer talking. You don't request the tank to pull small. But you complain, you are no longer silent, about the tank running out of your range, and you never once, not once, push the sprint button. Instead, you call them a bad tank. You're damn right I'm vote kicking you. That is the punchline to every paragraph, guys. Every paragraph ends with vote kick. Xander and I went to kick somebody today because it was just so bad. And then neither of us were like, so how do we do it? Like, is it in the social menu? We didn't have practice. We did figure it out, but it was like 4 minutes. It would have been faster to just clear it.
Yeah.
But it did happen. This is like a chef claiming he can't cut the food, even though he has a perfectly sharp knife, as opposed to the previous paragraph where he has a dull knife. Now, how could you be, this is a fourth example, guys, a level 74 tank and never in your history, no achievement get, use defensive cooldowns? Not even a little rampart, not even the roll action, which doesn't ever get told to put on there. How did you not know, you MSQ questing noob, when there's 10 mobs attacking you? Instead you say, healer needs to heal me more. It's like a soccer goalkeeper not attempting to use his hands to save the shot.
You're damn right I'm vote kicking.
You're damn right I'm gonna vote kick you. How did he get this far in the game? Probably questing.
Yeah,
like
MSQ.
You don't need cooldowns to quest. Too many people in this game are shouting, deal with it and just finish the instance. No. Stop tolerating it, because then it becomes the norm. The game is easier than ever now. Stop being so effing passive. I appreciate them not writing that one out. I was going to read this word for word, and I didn't want to use that one.
Yeah.
Stop being so effing passive when someone is being toxic. Toxic isn't just salt in party chat.
This is by far like the best post that I have read.
It's so good. It sums up every moment of frustration I've ever had and keep to myself. And I'm not saying they're right. Those are moments of frustration I don't really act on. I just play something else.
Well, and then according to that, like you'd be a part of the problem. Like you're tolerating it, or you're just
I'm making it the norm.
Like, all right. And essentially what's interesting, because we've kind of seen this happen over the course of the last 2 years, coming up on 2 years. They made policy changes, and with it, I've heard people talk about like, no, we're just not going to talk because we're not going to get reported. We're just going to stop dealing with it because it could come back to bite you. You and I are content creators, streamers, like you were with that person today. Like you don't want to get like reported for being toxic and being banned, even though that'd be huge for us. Like every YouTuber streamer that gets banned from the game like comes back massive because everybody's just like, what did he do? What happened? Let's watch. By the way, guys, shoot for our 10,000 followers on Twitch. Links in the description. Didn't plug it at the beginning.
It's gonna get real hard if I'm getting banned.
Yeah. Well, he's like, Chris is playing WoW. He's playing like that toxic WoW player. Or Guild Wars 2 or Destiny. Like there's all kinds of games.
We'll cut Chris to try 11. Funny you should mention that.
Funny you should mention that. There was somebody who was AFK doing nothing, and we kicked him.
And I reported them for AFK, which allows me to kick them.
Mm-hmm. And then they were like, "Oh,"
and then I was banned.
Then you were banned. But there's an interesting, obviously, the underthread because it's like I've talked about like I call this kind of a casual elitism. There's like I think elitism kind of has like two extremes, right? Like you have the casual side of it saying you don't pay my sub, like I'm not like I'm treating this multiplayer game as a single player game. And the weird thing is that 14 is uniquely set up to be both a single player game and a multiplayer game. And I think one of the things that will help address this ultimately is if we see the trust system brought into the earlier parts of the game. So that way it's like somebody can kind of cut their teeth, they can kind of learn and a little bit better than the MSQ does, right? Because there's nothing in the MSQ that has you have to heal. You have to like it is all story driven.
It does not teach you.
And the curated fights are curated fights, and you do better if you know your job and rotation. But that being said,
they're designed to be clear.
The dungeons are the first introduction to party. The guild has the first introductions to party, and we're seeing that. We're seeing that like more and more as people try the game. The game doesn't necessarily teach you, but the trust system being at the end of the game is just this weird, homage to saying like if you wanted to treat 14 as a completely single player game, you can't unless you skip and then you start off at level 70, because then you could have like the whole story and just do everything pretty much, I think, outside the trials, as a single player game. And so it's like there's this weird hybrid of the casual elitism of I'm treating this as a single player game,
right? But
it's not all the time, and when it's not, like there is a level of responsibility that you and we have a social contract, right? Like I'm not asking you to be a savage raider going from that, but I would like you not to be AFK.
It's why I don't have a meter running, because I don't want to know if they're doing a poor job, because it's just easier to, I asked for random DPS. I was given random DPS.
That's true.
It's fine.
Now, the other examples they bring out, obviously, the alliance raid. It's so hard. Like, you're not going to go and build your own. Because one of the things I still maintain, like, when you say, give me a group of people, I'll take whatever comes along the way first, you're throwing the dice. You're throwing the dice in, and you're going to hit. Sometimes you're going to get a great group.
You're tired, you're poor, you're hungry. Let's clear some roulette. Like, that's it.
But, and so it's like you're rolling the dice, and if you get a good group, you get a good group. And if you get a bad group, I guess Reddit threads then are the solution in this case. I love it, obviously, coming out with, I bet this is getting voted down to hell. And then that's a very positive thread, 83%. I think a lot of people are feeling that level of frustration.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong, or she's not wrong. They're not wrong. I guess that would be the proper term. The game is easier. The game is easier to tank. The game is easier, especially at the earlier level stuff. So, I think that, I don't have a solution.
I've been in a party where somebody has been vote kicked maybe 5 times out of hundreds of dungeons over how long have I been playing this game here? 7 years, 8 years now?
Yeah.
The number of times we've had to kick somebody, and it is always AFK. I can't think of a time I've ever had to kick somebody for stuff they're saying in chat. We just ignore them.
I've had to kick one guy, because and we were trying to
It's
like,
always AFK.
well, and he wasn't. It was just like, it just gave you the feeling that he was purposely trying to troll and get everybody killed. And we're like, hey, maybe like put the boss that direction, and he'd wait till the boss would like do a cleave, and then he would turn the boss right into everybody. And all right, we got to do that again. Okay, and it was just like after like 7 times, it's like, okay, like, we're just gonna kick you and things like that. So we did, and there was one time we ended up somehow winning the fight, but he was like just dancing around Titan, and so we just started spinning with him, and we were able to clear because the Titan couldn't cleave us. But I was like, it's not an action RPG, man. Like, he's gonna roll and it's gonna hit you regardless of whether.
Does Titan have a math phase incoming? I feel like I've done this rotation around the boss before.
Yeah. Oh man. There's no real solution in this case.
No, there's no winning
because
here.
I can't.
Because all of these people are, of course, naming people that are wrong. Like, it wouldn't come out here and be like, and here's this person that's in a gray area, right?
Right.
No, all the people, all the hypothetical people here are 100% wrong. But like,
well, I don't know if these people are really hypothetical based off of this article.
No, some of them
level 77,
reality.
Level 74. Like, this is somebody's gotten to a point they're making notes during their day. Dear Diary.
And you're and you're wearing specifically this piece of gear, glamored into this, hypothetically,
with your initials on this server. Not saying who you are. Well, but people
just if that sort of thing were to occur.
I think the thing that at least from my perspective, and the thing I'm grateful for is that, like with kids, like I'm fully well aware the only thing I have control in life is how I react to things, and me. Like I don't even have full control over me sometimes. There's all kinds of factors that everybody, and I always am working my way through, in that regards. Like, I'm an overeater. I'm not trying to excuse myself. I'm trying to master that. I'm trying to kind of break myself of that, like, that habit.
Sure.
And so it's like, I am very well aware, like, and have come to this, like, and it's very peaceful. Like, I can't control the chaos. Julie says, not my circus, not my monkeys. And, so it's just like, okay, like, there is a world out there.
Yeah.
People will say, like, how hard is it for people to read tooltips? Apparently pretty hard, because when I put videos together just telling you what the tooltips do and how they interact with each other, those videos do fantastic. And yes, we might get 0.5% of somebody coming in saying, who really needs this video? And then we'll get a bunch of people saying, thank you. I'm not saying that the people who like go and watch those videos are wrong. Not at all. Like, I really appreciate them hanging out.
Audible's an entire company.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
You could read books,
all they're
or
doing
books
is
could
just
read to you.
Reading books. How hard is that?
It's like, we're going to read
to you. It's not hard.
It's
just nicer to have somebody read it to you.
YouTube channels have been built off of people reading just the basic stuff to people.
Great.
And so,
I get it.
Yeah, I feel for the frustration here. I feel for that level of frustration, because it's like, I don't think this was the first option. I think this has been going on, and eventually just hitting a point where it just is enough. It's just done. And I would say probably that would be a good time to, at least if nothing else, avoid the 24-man raid, because there's all kinds of problems with that. We've talked about how people cheese that with artificially lowering their gears, so you're always going to get the 50s because they're so easy and so fast to clear. And that doesn't seem like that's going to be fixed.
Is a mess.
You play different games during the MSQ roulette, like, oh, cutscene. It's like, how do you do it?
And sometimes I'm still the person in front.
Yeah.
Like, I'm leading the charge. There's no plan here.
Oh, man. It's going to be interesting.
People tank one of the bosses in the lightning outside the donut so that they're closer to the door when it ends. They just stand in it. The whole raid is in the bad, killing everything, so we can get to the next boss where he puts a puddle down on the ground and nobody moves. Like, these mechanics are tuned to a point where they don't matter.
Anyway, I just want to kind of say this is kind of my final thought. I appreciate everybody. Hopefully you all enjoyed our dramatic reading of this Reddit post. I love it. You're damn right. I'm going to vote kick you. Oh. You're done, son. You're done. And I don't know if there's a better solution out there. So I'd be curious to see y'all's thoughts. If you think there's a better way that can be handled, if we can help in some way, if there's something out there that we can be like, the complete beginner's noob guide to noob, read your tool, etc.
Today's was no big deal.
Yeah.
It was literally just a DPS that was AFK, and then it immediately was replaced with another DPS. But like 2 weeks ago, I had like 2 or 3 bad dungeons in a row, and like some of it was like I made a mistake, and then I got ripped, and then I was in WoW, and like I had a bad pull because I was already tilted from playing 14, and I had a bad pull. But like it was an optional set of monsters to get to a quest mob that you don't have to clear unless you have the quest.
Mhm.
And they go, hey, we need to pull this. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, I guess. And I pulled it, and then like I died, and then I got as a tank, and then I got kicked. And it was like, what? And so like that just resulted in, guess what? Chris crafts every Wednesday now, because that happened on a Tuesday, and I was like, nope, tomorrow we're just not doing group content. Like, that's just not gonna happen. So like there are a lot of beautiful systems in this game. Ishgard is going on right now, Diadem is going on right now. Like, these are the last chapters of Ishgard. Go sit in that. Go sit in Boja and get your relic, because that's a very different battle experience. And if they're AFK and Red Chocobo, then don't worry, that's going to solve itself, because even if you're not AFK, that's probably going to solve itself. Everybody dies.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed this foray into into Reddit. Let us know if there's any topics or things like that you'd like us to see talk about, and we'll be seeing you guys here next week. If you guys are watching this between the hours of 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. and 2 p.m., you can go hit the link and go hang out with Chris on Twitch. I'll be there typically trying to shoot for Mondays and Fridays, and he's got also different other content creators lined up for during the week. So there's always something special going on over on Twitch. So hopefully you guys check it out. For Work to Game, my name's Brian.
My name's Chris.
Thanks so much for watching. We hope you have a fantastic day. We'll see you soon.
And we might not kick you.
And we might not kick you.